What's going on, Jerome's? I'm actually kind of happy that I took a little break after the game. Took the kids outside. Rocco's learned to ride his bike without training wheels. It's a whole to-do. Let me do it. Because, after the game, post-game show, a little bit salty. And I feel like a lot of people were on board with that. But taking a step back, big picture things, this is still a damn good football team. And you know what? Allegedly, the Lions are the best team in the National Football League. And the Lions allegedly not even allegedly, they beat the brakes off the Cowboys last week. They boat raced the Seahawks 2 weeks ago. So losing on a last-second field goal against, again, allegedly the best team in the league, where I hate to go back to this. I don't want to do it, but when it's so clear that the refs were in the bag for the Lions, I mean, you got to play better than the refs, and frankly, the Vikings didn't, right? So you lost on a last-second field goal when you basically didn't show up in the first half, and you fought your way back, respect, but the offense had a chance to ice this game late. They didn't do it. They went 3 and out. The defense had a chance to win this game late. Didn't do it. Let them drive down the field easily for that field goal, and it just sort of is what it is. But I know that Lions fans are like thumping their chests. I mean, the whole team and the fan base take their cues from Dan Campbell, right? So on one hand, I kind of respect the boisterousness and the smugness, but on the other hand, nah. Also, it's so funny. So we're calling we've called the Lions fans the most sensitive fan base in the league so many times, and then now we have a bunch of us like, oh, Jared Goff owns your poverty franchise. Go back to China. Literally proving my point. Which is funny, man. And it kind of sucks. And I feel bad for them because act like you've been there before, but they haven't. But now I'm just like, after this bubble bursts and the Lions win zero goose egg D'Angelo Russell championships and don't even make a Super Bowl in the Dan Campbell era, I hope you go back to 60 years of pestilence and plague. just nada. Going back to wearing those paper bags on your heads. But now your ticket prices are nearly doubled. It's okay. Call me petty. I'm Tom Petty. And won't back down. Also, talking about the officiating. So, again, I don't like to do this because I feel like it's a bit of a cop-out to just blame everything on the refs, even though we do it a lot. When it's clear and present. But here's the thing. Like, there was no call on this play where Slinging Sam Darnold... And the announcers, don't get it going on the announcers saying like, well, Darnold slid late, and that's on him. No. Brian Branch clearly launched himself head first, leading with the crown of his helmet, head down, launching himself, which I was told that they're trying to improve player safety, right? And he still hit Darnold in the head with his shoulder. Branch clearly had bad intentions here. The only way that they didn't make helmet-to-helmet contact is that Darnold got down quickly. So what? No flag. And no flag here, nothing to see here, right? And it does seem like the league is very selective in terms of penalties of player safety. I feel like the Lions get away with a lot. Not saying, I'm just saying. Also, the whole, this one sucked because Gilly fell down, and it was a very easy touchdown to Khalif Raymond, but just clearly missing the obvious Jahmyr Gibbs blocking the back on Metellus. Like, we're just going to ignore that. And also, the Harrison Phillips fumble. But, like I said, also the Ivan Pace Jr. roughing the passer, even though he was thrown into Jared Goff. And just like how they picked up the roughing the passer from Lee McNeil after Ed Ingram threw him into Sam Darnold. Yeah. But other than that, I have no issues, right? Like I said, you got to play better than the refs ref. And frankly, the Vikings had some big-time plays. Ivan Pace Jr. redeemed himself with that scoop and score. Josh Metellus punched that one out. And also, Aaron Jones with that nice touchdown run. Like, I'll just remember us the way that we were. Also, the Kevin O'Connell hugs are fantastic, man. Yeah, but either way, it is what it is. The Vikings lost on a last-second field goal against one of the best teams in the league, allegedly the best, right? But frankly, the Vikings beat themselves. We got some winners and losers from the game. So, winner, Pace, man of the match, had the scoop and score, 10 tackles and a sack. Will Reichard, actually, you could have called Reichard the man of the match. Either way, but 3 for 3 on field goals, perfect on the season. That won't come back to haunt us. And I've said before the playoffs, because yes, the Vikings are making the playoffs, he should just shank one on purpose. Like a 31-yard chip shot, he just puts in the second deck, because why not? But also, what's funny is that on the last drive, if the Vikings weren't called for illegal formation and marched back 5 yards, O'Connell was going to put him out there for a 68-yarder for the win. The NFL record is 66. How amazing would that have been? All right. And also, so going back big picture here, like I know that people are crying in the breast milk and people are saying that the Vikings are frauds, but and the Lions are a wagon, the best team in the National Football League. But this game literally came down to a field goal, a 43, 44-yarder. And initially that first little spin, it kind of looked like it was hooking. All right, but I'm just watching the replay right now. Oh, he's flexing and dancing. Congratulations. Right. This game literally came down to one kick. So, hey, I'll play the Lions multiple times, and maybe the Vikings will show up in the first half and not dig themselves a friggin' hole in the second quarter. But also winner Justin friggin' Jefferson, he is like that. 7 for 81 and a touchdown. And it did seem like the Lions DBs were mugging Jefferson, and it's the playbook that the Jets and the Packers and everyone has put on them where, hey, we're just going to hold them every single play, and we'll see if the refs call it. And the refs didn't call it today. Jonathan Grenard had a big sack late, teamed up with AVG on that third down. Was that close to a strip sack earlier in the game, which probably would have flipped the script? Is what it is. Aaron Jones, 93 yards on the ground with a touchdown, 6.6 yards per carry. Also 3 catches for 23 on 3. Also, like Jones doesn't just like catch a little dump offs like most running backs. Like he literally looks like a wide receiver out there. Like honestly, if you make Aaron Jones a slot receiver, I think that he would do fine. Really would. Josh Metellus had 8 tackles, 2 quarterback hits, and it was interesting because Flores replacing Cashman, which Cashman was a huge loss this game. Right, but everyone has injuries. Like they were without Hutchinson, but Metellus, I mean, he had the punch out, and it was basically Metellus, Diamond Dallas Turner, and Kamu replacing Cashman, opposite pace. It was kind of interesting to see. Harrison Phillips run stuff, forced a fumble, which should have been ours. Yeah. Got him to jump on 4th and inches, backing him up and making him punt, and you can make a case he's the most underrated player on a team full of underrated players. And then the fake punt crew. Osama setting the edge, C.J. Ham in there, Bo Richter making the tackle. It was great sniffing that out on the first drive. Brandel and Darisaw, the entire left side of the line was just owning people. Plus, Darisaw had some elite recoveries at left tackle. It's like, he got sucked inside, and then all of a sudden he pulled a complete 180, was able to locate the defensive end in space and make contact. That's really rare stuff. Like, that's elite tier 1 stuff. Like, Darisaw's been great. Blake Brandel's been phenomenal. Trent Sherfield, got to give him some love. So Sherfield does all the dirty work. He's a run-blocking receiver and plays some great special teams. Two tackles as a punt gunner. Why was Evans in over him gunning on punts? Like, he wasn't swapped out until the Jets game. It's interesting. Andrew Van Ginkel, 7 tackles, 2 sacks. I just felt like the Van Ginkel pick 6 is coming. Didn't happen. Ryan Wright flipped the field consistently, 48.3 yards per punt. Also, U.S. Bank Stadium crowd was loud and proud and wasn't half 49ers fans, which is fantastic. Not so winners. Kevin McCollum, Brian Flores. And as much as I love and respect them, and as great as they have been and will be, today's on them. This team was thoroughly unprepared in the first half. And they sleptwalked through the first half, and the defense got torched, 4 straight touchdown drives of 69-yard plus. Not nice. Not nice. And Kevin McCollum, the offense just didn't have a flow at any point. It was just really rough. Other than the opening drive of the second half, like offensively, they were stunted. They really were. Darnold, like his black and white numbers were fine. Had 103.5 quarterback rating, 22 of 27, 259, 9.6 yards per attempt, but the interception to Branch, where he clearly didn't see 32. The 2-point conversion, which just fell flat. Wasn't a great play call either. And also the 3rd and 4, airmailing that one, also didn't look like a good play design because Addison and Jefferson were in the same zone. It's just, yeah, I mean, the touchdown to Jefferson, phenomenal. The touchdown, or the long pass to Addison to flip the field, fantastic. But crucial moments just eluded him. Yeah. Also, it honestly seemed like the offensive line had great protection, but there was 7, 8, 9 plays where Darnold stepped up in the pocket, great protection, and no one was open. And it's not like Darnold can't go through his progression, so that's not the case, but were guys just not getting open? Can't wait to see the all-22. All right. Ed Ingram, he's got to be benched. Like, Reiser needs to be activated, needs to start Thursday against the Rams. No muss, no fuss. Like, Ingram, I don't care that he is competent as a run blocker. He is an absolute hindrance to pass protection. He put Darnold in danger several times, and no, just sit him. Trade him. Don't care. Beasley just got completely juked on the first Gibbs touchdown, is what it is. But overall, like, sloppiness, like penalties, missed assignments, blown assignments, just all over the place. Addison penalties. Like, how do you get 2 pre-snap penalties? Like, honestly, well, also the 51-yarder was his only catch, wasn't it? Oh, sorry, yeah, 3 catches for 66, but it seemed like it. It seemed like he was invisible throughout most of the game, even though the Lions were giving a lot of attention to Jefferson, and just mental mistakes. And that's on the player, and that's also on Kevin O'Connell and the coaching staff. They just weren't getting him ready. Pass rush. So the pass rush was able to get something going in the second half, but consistently, especially that first half, the all-out blitzes weren't getting home, and Flores didn't adjust. And that's the problem, is that if you send 5, 6, 7 players, you're going to be singled up on the back end. And Lions have one of the best offensive lines in the game, respect. And if Goof gets that ball out fast, again, Lions fans so sensitive because we call him Goof. It's kind of funny. And Flores, frankly, they made some adjustments, but in the first half, it was just, you dug yourself too big of a hole with those 21 points. Gilly fell on the Raymond touchdown. It sort of is what it is. And it felt like he's been playing off coverage a lot, right? But, Ty Chandler holding, it didn't need to hold Brian Branch. Adam Amin and third leg Greg. They announced the game like they had the Lions money line. All right, and then the refs and Brian Branch headhunting, which wasn't flagged. The Phillips fumble, pretty clear that the ball was out before the elbow touched. But, the Naylor out of bouncing, it honestly felt like, because that took 10 minutes, the review. It felt like the longer it went on that they were going to screw the Vikings, and that was going to be a scoop and score for Brian Branch. Even though first off, they were debating if the heel was out of bounds. His toe was out of bounds. So, yeah. And also the Vikings were getting something going at that point, and the long review allowed the defense for the Lions to rest because they were gassed at the end. And also, Josh Paschal with his multiple injuries when the Vikings were going up tempo. But he was fine. Got a sack later in the game. But overall, kind of annoying game. But frankly, if this is the best in the NFL and the Vikings lose by 2 on a last-second field goal, so be it. I feel perfectly fine about things. And guess what? Hey, the Vikings beat the Packers. Allegedly, the Packers are good. The Vikings beat the Jets. Allegedly, they're good. The Vikings beat the Texans and the Niners. Allegedly, they're good. So the Vikings are good. And the defense will get things fixed offensively. Hey, guess what? You're replacing Ed Ingram, and you're getting T.J. Hawkinson back. So all of a sudden, this offense is going to be a wagon. I trust Kevin O'Connell to get things going. But also, that play calling on that second-to-last drive where you need to grind some clock and you go 3 and out and it's incomplete on third down so you don't achieve any of those goals, ridiculous. Also, the 2-point play wasn't a very good design. But other than that, all right. Frankly, it stings today, but people are acting like the Lions won by 50. It's not the case. It's not the case. And, frankly, we get the Lions week 18. We'll see them in the NFC title game. Bring it. Don't care. We could play in Minnesota or Detroit or the Moon. Vikings will win. Vikings taking 2 out of 3. No problems, man. But that's it. Vikings-Lions recap. You can be mad for a little bit, but hey, short week. I think it actually benefits the Vikings that they can't cry in the breast milk. They got to get things going for a Rams team that could be pretty spunky. Sean McVay knows Kevin O'Connell and vice versa. Bring it on. There you go. But that's it. Let's know your winners and losers. You know what to do. Skol. Production value.